What up, y'all? Welcome back to the Mic Check Podcast. We are live. It's been a while. This is your boy T Word, the People's Champ. Thanks for tapping in. I am awaiting some guests to come on. We have a nice little panel that we set up. I invited a few people. We're going to see how long we go, probably at least an hour, waiting for Q to show up, obviously, so we could get this thing going. But if not, if it's just me, we're still going to talk this good boxing. I'm going to get the camera on in a minute, but hey, I'm still getting my little set together. So bear with me. If the audio is not coming in good, please let me know so I can make some adjustments or change devices if necessary. I'm in a new setup, so my internet ain't as good as it used to be everywhere. So I'm still trying to work that part of it out. But anyway, guys, I appreciate everybody that's already tuned in. Again, this is the Mic Check Podcast. I am your host, T Word. Biggest thing for me today, I want to talk about Canelo and Ryder. Got to take a look at that fight, but then also talk about Regis Prograis. He made an announcement and gave out some names that he'd like to get in the ring with. And he was standing there with Eddie Hearn. They announced this during the Canelo pay-per-view. And then other general boxing topics. Obviously, there's a lot of different things that are happening all at one time. And what we're really trying to do is figure out what's going to happen over the summer. We've already reached May, so I want to talk about Devin Haney and Lomachenko. Probably do a live commentary, I guess you could say, a sort of a breakdown. If you're watching on Facebook, thanks for tuning in to the T's Corner channel. I need to update the branding on that over there, but I appreciate you watching. We will get into some NFL action and then also get into some NBA playoffs. That's Q's specialty. For those of you who may have missed it, we had Mr. Myron Lilly, Quentin's father, come on, and we appreciate Black fathers over here. So he came on and graced us with his presence, and they talked a little Lakers basketball, a little old school stuff. So that's the way that we're trying to do it over here at the Mic Check. We don't want people to feel like we're exclusive, but we definitely are. We for us, by us, but we also want everybody to get their opportunity to speak. The panel's usually open when we go live, so you could come on and talk your shit. You know what I'm saying? Sister K Moliere 504. What's happening, sis? Boot camp, baby. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you tapping in. Thank you. Please hit that like button for me. Just on here about to talk a little boxing. I'm trying to give some of the guys an opportunity to show up, and we're going to discuss Canelo versus Ryder and then some other recent results. I hadn't done a live show myself in a minute. Q's been on a couple of times, keeping us thriving in the live space, but this is my first opportunity in almost a month since we flew into Vegas. So try to drop my opinion on some stuff. Some things that we've covered in videos up to this point as far as boxing goes. I talked about Deontay Wilder and his recent situation. And honestly, I'm just waiting for more news to come out with Wilder because I feel like we don't know enough. I did see Tay Jones say that, Champ was in the right. So whatever came out, all that bad news that they try to put on him, that bad juju, I think he's going to shake it off. And I hope that doesn't stop him from getting in the ring. Ed Chandler, what up, coach? Hey, man, just back in this thing, trying to do my thing, podcasting again. You welcome to come on anytime, fam. Your football mind is so damn amazing. For those who aren't aware, Ed was a coach with me. We did a youth football team almost 10 years ago, man. And when I say this dude brought so much information and knowledge to the game, it was super dope having him as part of the staff. And we ain't had the best season as far as our record went, but we had a great time coaching those kids. And he's been doing that since then, coaching his own kids and stuff like that. So shout out to you, coach. But yeah, at the moment, we're talking boxing. Like I said, I got the guys from the Angry Man podcast. They're going to pull up on me shortly. They're wrapping up their show. So no problem, coach. They're wrapping up their show, and then they're going to pop over here. I've already sent them the link. So I'm holding off on the topics for today until then. One thing I might want to chit-chat about, though, is Teofimo Lopez's recent comments. So I didn't do a video on this just because I feel like he was being an idiot. He's one of those people that I feel like he says things and has instant regret. And I think that was one of them situations. He used the N-word, and he was talking about basically top-ranking black fighters, and it was his last fight on the network. and working with ESPN and whatnot. And I just feel like he's in a very lost place. And I think that he's a talented athlete. And it bothers me when I see athletes that are misguided and lose direction, because it means that it affects their performance. And it showed up when he fought Sandor Martin. I thought that he was unfocused. He fell into some really bad habits. And that's kind of what can stop a career. I thought he had a really promising career. And now it feels like he's just spinning his wheels and he's stuck in a really bad place. So I'm hoping T.O. can get it together. But I don't know what's going to happen. Nate says, hey, man, haven't been on here in a while. How you been? Hey, blessed and highly favored, brother. You know what I'm saying? I hadn't had an opportunity to do any lives because my schedule has significantly changed, and I've been busy moving and shaking, rearranging some things in life. So I hadn't had an opportunity, but I'm trying to find the schedule. We might be looking at Sunday afternoons right after my guys, Greg and Jason on the Angry Man. We might be doing that. So whenever I can, I will. I do typically appear on the weekends, Boxing Jim's Film Study. I jump on there with Jim's and do his fight streams. So if you got some time, come join us, because the conversation is always dope. We're talking X's and O's about boxing, a little bit of side talk, but most of the time it's straight up boxing. Kay is over there. She can vouch for that. It's a super dope channel. So please go over there and support him, especially in the live streams. We get it popping. Kay says, I think he is mentally ill. I literally ignore him and his ignorant pappy. I couldn't have said it better myself. That's another one of them dads that it's kind of like Angel Garcia. It's like, just shut the hell up, right? So I just think that with T.O., it feels like he needs to get better people around him. There's situation, there's personal stuff that's going to derail his career if he doesn't make a change ASAP. Definitely check it out, Nate. Oh, let me see what else we got here. All right, let me see. The guys still got a little bit going on, so I'm gonna hold off for them just a little bit longer. But anyway, other news. There was a recent interview I saw. The Charlo twins went on I Am Athlete. As a podcaster, I typically watch other podcasts because I'm always looking at the technical stuff, the way they set it up, all that. So I don't necessarily pay attention to the interview style because I do things my own way, but I'm looking at structure because I want to see what's working, what's successful. So anyway, they had the Charlos on there. So obviously that's a double click because it's some boxing guys. And Jermell Charlo seemed to have a mindset of he still wants to be the best. He still wants to be competitive. And I think when he comes back off this injury, whoever he fights next is going to have hell to pay. He seems like one of those dudes, like the cliche phrase is he has that dog in him. Every boxer got dog in him, if you ask me, because it take a dog to get in that ring and go toe to toe and look another man in the eye and try to beat him up. But I think that Mel is on that level of the most elite. Canelo had it, Ali had it, Foreman. You look at Floyd, Shane Mosley. These are dogs, right? So anyway, I feel like Maul isn't as hungry. I feel like he feels obligated to box, but he doesn't seem like he's locked in. Like he's just doing it because he has the ability. It's like the guy who's tall, so he develops his basketball skills. And then he achieves a certain level of success. But once he gets there, the fire to keep going doesn't exist because he's reached the pinnacle. To some degree, I kind of feel like that about Maul. And then he kind of broke down on air. And I just thought it was a bad look because I'm like, you're going to have to get in the ring and look another man in the eye. And he's going to remember you crying and he's going to play you for soft. And that's going to get him to try you. So to me, I think that that's not the best look for him. And I Am Athlete is a huge platform. So that's crazy. All right, we got a question from Nate. What do you think about Canelo and his performance? I think he is possible starting to fade. He looked like a pure power puncher and not using his defense or footwork. Excellent question, and we're definitely going to get into it. I was waiting for my panelists to come on, but we have reached a 10-minute mark, so I'll go ahead and get into it. So I'm going to start before the fight and talk about what my expectations of Canelo were before the fight started. All right, so first things first, think back to Canelo versus Plant. In my opinion, I saw some slippage versus Plant despite the win. And what I mean by that is I saw him waiting for shots, throwing single shots, not trying to throw combinations, not something he was typically known for, but his upper body movement didn't look as fluid. And that kind of affected his ability to let his offense go. He looked a little clunky getting out of the way of shots. And in my personal opinion, I had Plant ahead early, regardless of what the cards say. Now, then obviously Plant ran out of gas. Canelo was able to catch him, and then he was on his ass after that. Then the next fight is Bivol. Bivol fight, I thought Canelo tried to start early, but Bivol had all the tools to mitigate his offense. To me, he kind of made Canelo put his hands in his pocket even more than he had. And Canelo was pot shotting, and trying to hit him on the arms and slow his ability to punch down, slow down Bivol's hand speed. And I thought it worked to his disadvantage because it seemed like he tired out late. If I'm not mistaken, I watched this one live with Jims and the crew, and I think I had an 8-4 Bivol. I just thought he beat Canelo up round after round after round. And the rounds that I gave Canelo, I think only 2 were decisive. One, Bivol obviously took off, and the other, I thought Canelo actually was on the gas and really trying to, put a stamp on it. I think he felt the pressure, and he started to get to it. Okay, so then he fights Triple G, and for the pieces that I watched, it wasn't a good fight, and I just felt like Triple G has just passed it, and that's why I went how I went. So now we get into this fight with Ryder. He's coming off injury. Now, granted, I did predict a knockout between 8 to 10. And when he dropped Ryder, what was at the 5th, I thought that that's what was going to happen. I'm like, okay, he might get him out of there before the 8th. It didn't go that way. He ended up basically just kind of coasting the rest of the fight, and he applied pressure. But Ryder was so tough, I could see that it wasn't just Ryder. Canelo's tools were broken. Like you said, specifically, defensive footwork, the upper body and the head movement, a good bit slower. The footwork, completely gone. It's like he's got bad knees, bad feet, something. So that performance last night was actually not as good as I expected because I really thought he would get him out of there. But that could be me underestimating Ryder's toughness. What was your opinion, though? And let me see. If you're interested, let's see. I'm gonna drop this link if anybody wants to come up and chit chat. So feel free to join us on the panel, or join me rather. But back to the fight last night. So leading up to the knockdown, I thought that Canelo was applying good pressure. And what we knew going in was that Ryder was going to be there to get hit. He was going to stand there and, kind of just go toe to toe. And it worked to his disadvantage because he did get put down. Now, for me, I thought that there was a different strategy that Ryder could have used, but it's not really his skill set. And it's simply make Canelo turn a little bit. So try to get outside foot placement and then turn him. If you look at the times where Ryder touched the canvas, his foot was on the inside and he was trying to back out and turn, and his foot got caught. Even on the knockdown, there's just a straight punch. There was nothing he could do. But on the other 2 times he went down that I recall, their feet got tangled, and that's why they weren't called knockdowns. So that's the strategy to beat Canelo, be able to let punches go and then escape. And if you're a southpaw, you want to be able to escape to your right. If you're orthodox, you want to be able to escape to your left and just kind of circle out of him. And because he's a plotter, he's not going to be able to get out the way, right? So that's kind of my perspective on last night's fight. Yeah, we're experiencing that internet stuff. I'm sorry about the poor connection, guys. I can hear myself on the stream in the background. My apologies for the poor connection, but I'm working it out, okay? All right, any other questions? What else we got? Let me share this. And please, while you're here, don't forget to hit that like button. Uppercut that like button, touchdown that like button, whatever you want to call it, put it through the hoop, and support the channel in that way. Hold on one second. I'm gonna drop this live link out to some folks I know. All right. ACL unanimous. Peace and boxing, fam. Thank you for coming through. Y'all don't forget to hit that like button for me, please. Thoughts on Regis going to the zone? Does it get any big fights over there? Yeah. So that's a good topic, okay? Good question. Good question. So I think the opportunities are going to be there. The biggest question is going to be does he generate the money that they need him to make? Because they really don't have any pay-per-view fighters besides, you could say, AJ and Canelo. So is he going to be willing to get on cards with other stars so they can pack the building? He announced a fight in New Orleans, right, which is dope. But is the city going to support boxing, especially against somebody that, I mean, who is there at 140 that the city's going to know? I think that that's something that has to be considered. So I think that that's going to dictate whether or not he could get big fights. Can he draw? And then will people show up and make it look like he can make some money on the pay-per-view? Because that's the only way that return on investment is going to be there. Can they turn him into a guy that they could charge $30 to see him fight or something like that online, or whatever the case may be? Now, I think it's a good move because the way that he's been bouncing around to promoters and stuff, I think that that's really stalled him out. At least he's in the position where there's in-house fights in his division, because you got Hitchens over there, it's a Montana Love over there. So you have different people that he could get in the ring with at 140. And then if he raises his profile enough, that's going to make it appealing for him to maybe talk to the people at PBC. I have a sneaking suspicion he may not get anybody at Top Rank. Do you guys think they'll get a cross promotion between DAZN and Top Rank if he establishes his profile high enough? That's kind of my biggest question on it. What's the ceiling for his relationship with them, and what is it going to take for him to get to the level where he's highly marketable? Because he can talk that shit, but his fight style is somewhat fan friendly, but it's kind of ugly too. So if you're not knocking people out and you have an ugly style, that's kind of what happened with Andrade. It's kind of dirty fights, but you're being successful. People aren't really into it, even when you have a belt. Now, somebody else who just signed over there was Andy Cruz is over there now too, right? That's the guy that beat Keyshawn Davis. I wonder if he's going to be able to get fights. So, I mean, now he's on the professional side, but is he going to be able to get fights? All right, what we got? Did you check out the Errol Spence Jr. interview on his lady channel? No, I just actually heard about it maybe about 45 minutes ago on the Angry Man podcast. So I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to check it out after this. If I could play it on air, I would, but I ain't trying to get no strikes. What's her channel name? I'll go ahead and bookmark it so I could go back to it. But putting it on her channel, I think, allows them to control the narrative. I think that's something that's very important in this game now. If you're going to market yourself and promoters are expecting fighters to market themselves, you need to be able to control what's going on. But back to this Cruz thing. So Cruz and Keyshawn obviously have a history. I'm wondering if an opportunity to fight will come. I can see why he wouldn't go to Top Rank, because I feel like it would take them a long time to marinate the fight anyway, and people would complain that there's no side of the street in the way. Why don't they just fight? So it makes sense for him to go somewhere else. I just don't think it's enough smoke at their weight class at 35 for them to be over there. For him to be over where he is, I think PBC would have been a really super good place to go, because you got plenty of different guys. You could go get at Frank Martin. You can go get at Pitbull. I just think 135 is wide open on that side of the street. Now I'm gonna segue that into currently 135 has Devin Haney as the undisputed champion, and then you have Gervonta Davis as a WBA regular champion, and then you've got like some other guys that are in the top 3 to 5 underneath them. If you could pick out some particular fights, who are the matchups that you want to see? While I prefer to see Gervonta Davis versus Devin Haney, I'm not mad if he fights Frank Martin or Shakur Stevenson. Outside of those fights, who would y'all be interested in seeing? All right, let's see. On the rocks with AO. I'm going to go ahead and bookmark that right now. Okay, got it. Wow, that's an hour interview. Okay, so she's been at this a little minute. All right, bet. I'm definitely gonna check that out when this is over. I got it saved in my favorites now, so I can see what's going on. And we'll probably do a video, reacting to it or something at a later time. But yeah, so let's talk about these matchups at 135. Which guys would y'all want to see next? Let's start with the prospects. So you have guys like Keyshawn Davis. You have, I believe, Ryo is still at 135, even though he's got 2 losses. You have uh, slipping on tip of my tongue. Kid Austin. Uh, who who would you all like to see as far as prospects go, get in the ring and do their thing and go toe to toe? Okay, you said he explains everything. Okay, bet. Hey ATL, feel free to jump on. I dropped the link if you just wanted to pop on and chop it up. If you're free, I know sometimes we want to move and we just watching and listening. But if you're interested, you could come on and check it out. Jump on the panel and speak for yourself. Tell me a little bit about what you got going on your channel as well. But anyway, um, ultimately, what I'm getting at with the 135 division is I feel like over the next couple of years, because there's so many prospects, contenders, and then the champion and the opportunity and undisputed because the belts are together right now. I think that we're going to see that as the hottest division because 147 has completely cooled off. All the glamour and glitz that was involved is suddenly gone. So, what do you do? You turn your attention to a division that's making things happen. Um, Super middleweight could potentially be that if these guys will mix it up. It started with Plant versus Benavidez, but you just don't have that connection. Hey, King Kunta, I see you in the background, fam. You could hold on. I'm gonna bring you on. I'm gonna bring you on. Y'all hold just a second. Hey, you live on the air. What's good?
What's good, boy? What's good? How's everybody doing?
Hey, we were chopping it up, talking a little bit of boxing. We kind of covered the fight a little bit, but I definitely want to get your input and perspective on what went down with the fight. We
Absolutely,
were
man.
talking a little bit about Regis Prograde, but let's get back to that. Let's talk about Canelo Ryder. I want to get your input. You got to see the fight.
Yeah.
What
Yes, sir. I definitely did.
what was your
My bad.
thoughts?
First of all, I'm sorry to be late. I just had to watch James Harden hit that game winner. Okay, Sixers, 2-2. Let's get it. All right. Um, but no, the fight was Canelo and Ryder. Wow, Canelo got hit with a lot of uppercuts that I was very surprised that he was getting tagged with. I'm
Mhm.
wondering, did he not respect Ryder's power at all? He was he took quite a few shots like that. I thought that he did a really good job though with boxing. You know what I mean? He kind of, even though he did get hit with a lot of those uppercuts, like he was really getting hit with them joints, man. He
Yeah.
did catch him with a consistent 1-2. One of them joints actually put him down. You know what I mean? And for real, I thought that it was a performance that Canelo just kind of felt like, you know what? And this may sound like a crazy perspective, but he was like, I'm just going to beat this guy up. You know what I mean? I
Mhm.
don't really respect him that much. I don't think that he can really hurt me. His name is fucking John Ryder. So, I mean, what is he going to do to me? Right? And he just proceeded to say, let's get it. He straight up rumbled him. And I thought that was it was a good showing. I think people that are really going into this thing where they're saying, oh well, it wasn't a dominant performance, he didn't knock him out, and this, that, and the third. Y'all gotta chill out, man.
I'm one of them people.
He's not. Yeah, you say you one of them people?
I'm one of them people. It wasn't dominant, and not like the scorecard. What you thought about 120 to 107 though?
That was bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was terrible. It wasn't like I'm not gonna sit here and say it was a superbly dominant performance on his end, but the people are making it seem as though now that if he fights another elite fighter, he's gonna like Benavidez is gonna KO him in 5 now. It's just like, no, that's not how it's gonna go. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that scorecard was terrible. That Ryder won at least 3 rounds for sure.
That's how I had it too. I had at least 3. ATL Unanimous Boxing. Welcome to the panel, fam. What's good with you?
What's going on with you now?
Hey, good to see you show up, man. You know, we usually like ships passing in the night. I catch the beginning of your show, or you catch the end of my stuff. So it's good to finally cross paths at a good time, man. We still talking about this Canelo versus Ryder, and kind of giving our perspective on what we thought about the fight. So feel free. Did you get the opportunity to watch and give us your thoughts on how it went?
Oh yeah, it was good. It was all right, man, to see Canelo back in action. You know, it wasn't the greatest of Canelo that I've seen, but I think you gotta take things one step at a time. You know, especially him just coming back off his hand injury. So
yeah,
of course I knew he was gonna beat Ryder. You know what I'm saying? And but I think he just needed a little bit more time to improve, get their hand together, man. And I think he ain't really lose a step, really.
Oh, so you don't feel like you? In my opinion, I feel like there's significant show of slowdown in Canelo, and I think that it's a lot to do with his defense. He's not able to evade punches, and then it's also slowed down his offense. He just don't get out of the way of shots. So I think that against some of these younger elite fighters that are coming up, that could pose a problem if he don't get out the game soon enough. Do you think that a guy like, let's say, Benavidez, because I do believe Morrell is a little bit too green right now. What do you think about a guy like Benavidez getting in there? What could he do, or what's Canelo going to do to basically stop Benavidez? Not really stop like knockout, just say like stall out his offense. What would you think?
Well, I think with Benavidez, with him being who he is, he comes straight forward and doing what he does. Like, I think Canelo will have to just, box, stay back, keep using them body shots, because he great at them body shots, man. And I ain't never seen nobody really press David like that to the body.
For sure.
So I think that would be his best movement against his best move against Benavidez, just box. He do need to work on his defense. I don't know if because he was out because of his hand, that he didn't really work on that, because what I did see in the fight last night is that, he was walking Ryder down, and I didn't see the last when he fought Triple G. He wasn't really walking Triple G down. He wasn't really walking.
He definitely didn't walk Bivol down. He definitely
Bivol.
Yeah, he didn't walk people down.
Yeah, so it was good to see him,
moving
forward again. But just like you said, man, he got to put them hands up, and he gonna have to. That's why I say I think just a little layoff that he have him like that. You know what I'm saying? So
some rest. Okay.
Yeah.
And I hear that he re-injured his hand in the fight. So I don't know at what point, maybe, and you don't know with a hand for a boxer, that's a really serious situation. So you don't know how your body gonna respond till you get in there with live bullets, for lack of a better term. You don't know what your hand's gonna do until you actually hit somebody in the damn face, and how your hand's gonna respond. And maybe at some point in the fight that affected what he was doing, but defensively, his trunk movement, I'm talking from the waist up, the trunk movement just wasn't what it used to be. And I know that that's age, and it's him and Errol Spence and Charlo and all of them. They're about the same age. I'm not talking about the earth age. I'm talking about in-ring age. He's 64 fights in, 65 fights in. Your body moves different. It's like a football player. Their body age is different because you're taking that punishment. That's 60 training camps. That's everything. And I think that those things are starting to show up. And, I train people for a living. So I understand that it's just certain stuff you're not going to be able to get out of yourself. Even at peak, your peak is just not as high.
Exactly.
So I was waiting for my co-host to come on because he threw a comment out on Twitter, and basically his comment was Canelo's peak was so high that now people have a higher expectation for him, even though he's fading. And I don't think there's a higher expectation. I just think that most of us who aren't diehard Canelo fans, like there's some of us that are Errol Spence or Terrence Crawford or whoever fans, there's a certain acceptance we have to have when those fighters fade. And I just think that we're trying to help the Canelo fans get there, that it's showing and it's painfully obvious. What are y'all thoughts on that?
Actually, you know what, T? First of all, listening to you and I'm sorry, the other gentleman's name, I didn't catch
That's
the
ATL.
title name. ATL, what's good, brother?
What's going on with it?
But yeah, man, like I never really thought of it from that perspective. You know what I mean? Like he is getting older. You know what I'm saying? He's a year younger than I am. You know what I'm saying? I'm turning into an old head myself, quote unquote. So you know what I mean? So when you really sit back and think about it, you know, I was just under the impression that okay, he doesn't really respect John Ryder's power. So he's just sitting there thinking, all right, I can take these shots. But you bring an interesting point. He is getting older. He has over 60 plus fights, right? I don't know the exact amount that he has. I know he was 58. Matter of fact, he got 58 wins. He lost to Floyd and he lost to Bivol. So that's 60. And then he had a draw. So I think that's 61, if I'm not mistaken. So that's 61 rumbles with all those types of training camps. You know what I'm saying? Like that all could be adding up. And maybe you're right. His head movement that I felt like he developed right after that Floyd fight, it could be to a point that he's starting to get tired and his body is starting to fade. So that's a highly possible situation that you've just given us there. And from what your co-host has said, he could be fading right before our eyes.
Yeah. ATL, what you think, man? Do you think his situation last night where the defense looked a little rough, was it rust or was it him just diminishing skills?
I'm gonna say because you know, I used to be a big Canelo fan, honestly, until he popped dirty. But you know what I'm saying, I still kind of rock with him because I love boxing like that. But for me and watching his fights, you know, throughout the years and just, you know what I'm saying, seeing what type of person Canelo is, I think it's, to me, it's just my opinion, I think it's just more rust. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Rust could very be possible. We got Greg in the building from the Angry Man podcast. This is my brother here. He does a lot of supporting of the Mic Check podcast, so I want to introduce him properly. He definitely sends people over here on a regular basis. Welcome to the panel, brother. What's good?
What's going on?
Brother. Okay, there we go.
I was just watching his show too.
Go ahead, Greg.
I think he's still on mute.
Yeah. No sound on your side. I got you unmuted over here. But yeah, just pop in whenever, man. Just, you know, let the people know what you got going on. So
can you hear me now?
Okay, now we got you. Now we're good.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Got you.
He got all that.
I got a strange setup over here, so I got to change. Jump on here.
He got all that high tech shit over there.
I wish, man. I wish. I appreciate you, man, for inviting us, man. We tried to drop. We dropped it in the right before we left. We dropped it, but we didn't have a link to the show, man. Did you drop it in the chat?
I did, but it was a while ago. It was like 10 minutes out, so it's all good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all good. But yeah, so we've been in here. We're just cooking on Canelo versus Ryder. I know you said you didn't get the opportunity to watch the fight, but I know you saw Canelo versus Bivol. You've seen Canelo recently from Caleb Plant forward. So I wanted to get your perspective on, do you think that what people are seeing is ring rust for Canelo because his fights are kind of about 6 months apart, or has he diminished in skills, and what's the cause of that? Is he just naturally getting older at 32, 33, or is he just ring old? Would love to get your thoughts.
I think he's starting to diminish as a fighter. I didn't get the opportunity to see the fight last night, but I was watching the Danny Jacobs fight a few days ago, and I noticed the defense that he displayed in that fight. And I watched the Bivol fight. This was like maybe Friday night, and I noticed that he did not display the same level of defense against Bivol, or in the Bivol fight. Now, did he display some level of defense? Yeah, but Bivol was catching him with a lot of shots. Now, is Bivol a better fighter than Danny Jacobs? I think so. But I have noticed that he has started to slow down in terms of, you know, his his reflexes. I feel like the defense looks a little bit more porous than it did in the past. That may be a sign of an erosion in his skills. So I do believe that he is eroding as a fighter. And I'd be interested in seeing him in the ring with some of those other guys, man, at that division. Benavidez, Charlo, Morrell. I think those are all interesting fights. Now, I thought I had, at least I felt like I had Canelo earlier, that I thought that he would beat all those fighters. But at this point, I don't know anymore, man. I think he's faded as a fighter to some extent.
So for me, I believe that the skill set that Canelo has can offset a lot of what David Benavidez does, because he is a come forward fighter. So he's going to be there to get hit. The biggest question is going to be his punch resistance. Can he handle the power from Canelo? Because he hadn't seen that to this point. I think the fighter who has the best combination of skills doesn't have enough experience, and that's David Morrell. I don't think they're going to be together long enough in the same division to cross paths. He doesn't have any reason to fight Morrell. We got Jason from the Angry Man podcast joining the panel. Okay, he just tapped right back out, but he gonna join us, y'all. That is Greg's partner in crime on the Angry Man podcast. Like I said, they like family, man. They really support what I'm doing over here. So happy to have those guys join. But back to my point, I don't think Morrell and Canelo are going to cross paths because he has no incentive to take a chance fighting him, and that guy's actually ready. High risk, low reward. You're not going to make a lot of money, and you're probably going to give up them damn belts. So I just don't see that that's a probable fight. But do we believe that Demetrius Andrade or maybe Jermell Charlo coming up are other better fights, or does he just go ahead and rematch Caleb Plant? What do you guys think? Jason, come on in. Welcome in. We just talking Canelo Ryder, bro. And what Canelo can do next as far as a fight. What you think?
Stay the hell away from evil.
You're on mute, Jay.
Yeah, you muted. There you go. Turn your mic on. All right, try it again.
Can't hear you.
Still can't hear you. Yeah. Okay, so while Jay's going to get his situation together, so go ahead. You got it, Jay?
Jay is not technically savvy, guys.
Hold on. Let me pull him off mute.
Don't worry.
He should be good now. He good now. All right, guys. So
we can't hear you. Yeah, you gotta get him up out of here. He's just ruining my vibe. Get him the fuck up out of here.
Hey, keep working on it, Jay. We got you. Keep working on it, man. We're gonna keep rolling. We're gonna keep rolling while they figure it out. Okay, so I like that comment that you came with, Kay. Talking about Canelo versus Bivol. In my opinion, I don't want to see it if it ain't at 68. Let's get some votes on that. Does anybody want to see? Is anybody interested in just seeing the rematch, or does it need to be? Still no sound, Jay. Does it need to be a rematch at 75 or 168? I have some thoughts on why Canelo doesn't want 75, but I'd like to go around the panel.
He said last night that because the announcer asked him at the end of the fight, and he was like, "No, I want to go back to the same weight, 175." So he said it out of his own mouth. Right. I don't think that'll be a good decision for him, but that's what he said.
So I have my reasons why I think that's going down, but go ahead, Kay. Go ahead and drop it on us.
What I was gonna ask actually is I'm not as familiar with Bivol. I mean, I've watched him, since he's won the light heavyweight championship. When's the last time he fought at 68? You know what I mean? Because if it's been a long time, you know what I mean? Like, then he has an actual excuse. He go down there and Canelo beats him. He was actually drained. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know. I like to see these guys at their best, and Canelo moving up, even though he's not like the Canelo of 68, right? I mean, at least he isn't draining himself. You know what I mean? So I think that for me, like I would hate to see that at 68 because I feel like Bivol, however you pronounce his name, I feel like he won't be as effective as he is now. Now, being as though that he's more of a boxer, you know what I'm saying? So it's not like he's this guy that just mows through everybody, right? He has a skill set that he uses. He sets traps, he moves around the ring, he throws his jab, which is an amazing jab, one of the best in the game. But it's just again, it's just like he's cutting weight to fight this guy, and it's just like, wow. If he loses, can we truly say that he lost because he wasn't the better fighter? That's just my 2 cents on it.
Yeah. So let's think about that for a second.
I'm good now.
Is it a big? Yeah. Oh, there we go. Now we got Jay in the building. Welcome, sir.
I ain't gonna cuss on your platform to like that.
You good, bro? Hey, let it fly.
Because you technically inefficient mother. Go ahead,
Oh,
he been angry all day,
this
y'all.
is shit I deal with. Oh, thank you, T. I'm sorry. Salute to the panel, except for Greg, punk ass.
He been angry all day. So I was about to say, so in regards to Bivol, if you look at him, he's not one of those big 175s. Like when you saw him in the ring with Zerto looked much bigger. He's a big 175. I think even Beterbiev isn't a big 75. He's just as lean as he can get. I don't think he could go smaller. I think Bivol could actually go down to 68 and not look drained and be really efficient. Now, that's just my personal opinion. He says he could do it, so I believe him until he proves us different. So I would like to see him, like Kay said, I like this comment right here. Kay Muller, my sis says Bivol will still box Canelo's head off at 68. I
believe
definitely
that.
agree with that.
I believe that. I would think it'd be worse.
You think so?
I think it'd be worse.
Okay, I can imagine better hand speed and maybe a little bit more upper body movement from Bivol, but the way that he set up traps and get his combinations off, personally, I don't think he needs to do anything different to master Canelo again. 10 out of 10 times, it's like Mayweather Canelo. You're gonna get that same result. Jason, now you did tap in late, so I want you to give your opinion. You got to see Canelo Ryder, so I want you to talk about the condition of Canelo himself. I know you've talked about this on your channel, but I want the folks that are listening to hear. What were your thoughts on how he looked as far as coming back off of injury and everything?
I mean, he looked the same to me. Nothing changed except for he actually looked a little bit slower at times. The head movement wasn't there. He's still slow of foot. He still gasses out by around like 5 or 6. So nothing's changed with that. He was acceptable. He was getting hit. He was getting tagged. I don't know if he was allowing himself to get hit to kind of carry the fight for the fans or whatever. But this is a home. This is like I thought about this as a homecoming game for football. You play a cupcake and you beat the cupcake's ass. You show out in front of your hometown. He really didn't. He dominated, but he didn't get knocked out. He broke this dude's nose in round 2. Yet it went to a UD. Yeah, so. I wasn't impressed with this, and my take, T, on Canelo and his diet of European fighters, not fighting Benavidez, not fighting Charlo, not fighting Boo Boo, not fighting Morrell. Some of the people have been his mandatories, like Ryder was. Ryder lost a 3.
What the hell are you in there doing? I just told you I'm on the live.
Okay. Somebody getting the business over there.
Right. But like I heard your take earlier, T, about if they do have a rematch with Canelo and Bivol, I wanted at 168. I don't want it nowhere else but 168. Why? Because Bivol said he wants it at 168.
Sorry about that, y'all.
You good? You good? But Bivol said he wants it at 168 for Canelo's belts. That's why I want it. If Bivol didn't say it, then I'd be like, nah, Canelo wants to try to take advantage of him. But Bivol saying he walks around like around 179, 180, he said. So he said it wouldn't be a problem for him to get 168. So I give Bivol credit for that. Yeah,
that's just a good active training camp with a little bit more cardio. So I personally believe he could do it. I would like to see it, like you said. And I think that it's going to give those other people, like, let me see. Brian S. just dropped a comment. So I'm going to put this on the screen for everybody to see. I would hate to see that fight because of the people waiting at 168. So I like what you're addressing there, but I'm going to take the opposite stance. I think that if you get Bivol to become undisputed at 168, you know what's going to happen? He's going to win them belts, and then he's going to just drop them, or he's going to force the WBO mandatory at 75, so then he can force Beterbiev to fight him. So I think you get 2 divisions to move if he's to beat Canelo for undisputed and then move back up and face Beterbiev. So to me, I think it could be good for boxing if he's to take those belts away from Canelo, because Canelo is going to grit bash and stay on that same diet and then eventually go do something else. That's just my opinion on that.
I agree with that too.
Now, let me see. So I'm going to throw this out there. If anybody has a comment, we can speak on it, and then we can move forward to another topic. I want to talk about 135. But before we do so, I brought it up. Bivol versus Better Be is on hold because the WBC would not honor a person who still has Russian citizenship or whatever. So they're blocking that fight.
I did a video on that the other day.
Okay, cool. I'm definitely gonna check it out, man. I don't like the fact that Suleiman is getting in the damn way because I feel like he's blocking a sensational fight between two guys that one is older and the other is he's young enough to make something happen, but Better Be if it's like almost 40. We need this fight to happen in the next year for it to be us saying them two at their best. Because even at this point, I feel like Better Be if keeps getting injured and having these issues. He may not be at his best right now, but if we wait any longer for the WBC to make a decision, we're not going to get a good fight. Do y'all have any thoughts on it?
Yeah, I actually wanted to comment on that too, man.
Okay.
I don't think it's fair at all for like the entire country of Russia to be,
right.
You know what I mean? To be, like, you know what I mean? Like what if some of these people that are living in Russia, like some of these boxers, they actually think that Russia is wrong? You know what I'm saying? Like you're still punishing them for that. You know, like these guys aren't going out there and doing what's happening like with that war. They're not. They're training. You know, they're trying to become world champions. So you can't sit there and jump on Better Beat Ever or whoever you want to jump on because of the fact that he's got Russian blood in him. Like that doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, we got enough politics in boxing to where adding that aspect definitely screws up the pot because you're blocking the damn good fight and you're blocking the opportunity to seal up more belts. Like I think most of us are like either we need less belts or we need somebody to have all the belts. Like that's what's good about 135. You know who the 135 champ is, period. We can have that at 75. We got that at 68. You know, what's the damn problem? We can't get it at heavyweight because two dudes can't come in an agreement. So if it's between the fighters, it's one thing. But when the sanctioning body literally just blocking it, that's what's pissing me off. So I 100% agree with your point on that.
Yeah. Y'all covered everything I said on my video. I said the exact same thing.
We definitely gonna run that back for show because I'm definitely gonna show support again. Before we go into the next topic, we do have several vloggers, podcasters, whatever you want to call us, YouTube guys on the panel today. We have the Angry Man podcast. They're on every Sunday at 3 p.m. Central Time, 4 p.m. Eastern, and those are my guys, and they definitely bring it. So be sure to go over there. If y'all could drop a link in the chat for the folks to go and subscribe to your channel, check them out. They give great content, and they also do shorter videos as well in between. ATL Unanimous Boxing also, well, you got ATL Unanimous Sports now, right? So that's my guy. He does videos. He does a lot of the shorts and stuff like that. So go and check him out as well. He's got a lot of really good content. We all channels trying to grow. So please support us all and hit that like button while you're here and support the Mic Check podcast. All right, so let's talk about 135. Y'all interested in that?
Time out.
All right.
We got to say that that's my man Ken Kuti. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't do shit at all, but he's just here and he's showing love. Okay, there we go.
Kind of like Greg.
Hey, listen, Ken Kuti about to come on as a regular member of the Mic Check podcast. He don't know it yet, but he's definitely gonna be joining the team very soon. Hey, he's a young brother with very good information, very good insight. We have conversations one-to-one. He comments on the videos often and gives a very unique perspective. And I can remember kind of sort of being in that same position with the Angry Man. So it feels like history's repeating itself. So I definitely want to support what he's doing by supporting us. That's my boy Cool K. All right, so let's talk about 135, guys. So there's a lot of good fighters at 135, but the first thing I want to talk about is, are we ready for the prospects like Keyshawn Davis, Abdullah Mason, and guys at that level, Kid Austin, to be fighting each other? Or, Greg, you mentioned earlier on your show, you prefer to see some marination. What do you think about those particular fighters and whether or not they need to be fighting now so we could get the stigma of the O away, or should we marinate those fights a little longer?
I'm always a fan of marination. The problem that we've seen in the fight. Yeah, the problem that we've seen in the sport over the years has been over marination, right? Yeah. When you think about we were talking about this on the last show that we just wrapped up. At the end of the day, boxing has always been predicated on fights marinating, and I think we have this belief that back in the day everybody fought each other and it was immediate, and that's just not the case. Hearns and Leonard, that took a while to actually make. Leonard and Hagler. That took a while to make. These fights didn't just materialize just like that. Holyfield and Tyson, that didn't materialize. Now, those were circumstances related to Mike Tyson that, you know, you could say they were in his control or not, but it didn't materialize just like that. When Mike came back, and Mike was in a position after the whole ear biting situation, Lennox Lewis and Mike Tyson didn't happen like that, even though they were the two hottest names at heavyweight at the time. Fights marinate. I have no problem with it. You don't put these young fighters in the ring too early because you have a David Reed situation that will occur, right? You guys remember David Reed or a Fernando Vargas situation? David Reed, both of those fighters coincidentally got destroyed by Tito Trinidad. Vargas was never the same after that fight. Reed was completely done as a fighter after that. So that's just how I see it, man. You want these fighters to get the opportunity to be who they are and develop to what they can be. You don't want to put them in the ring too early. So I don't want to see these guys fighting just yet. They need another 24 months of maturation before we see these guys in the ring with each other.
Okay, I could dig that. Let me throw this perspective out. So right now, yeah, Lubin was too early. Michael Giles or Michael Gillies, I agree with you. I was going to point that out. Lubin definitely was too early, but let me throw this at you guys. So right now we have the stigma on the O, and there's a lot of reason that we're not getting fights because dudes are scared to lose that O because they feel like they can't recover. I think if we could get these prospects to fight a little earlier and get get that O lost or whatever the case may be, it's going to make somebody a superstar a little sooner, and we could really find the cream of the crop. But we can also get those guys to rebuild and recover and make their way back up the chain and recover from a loss earlier in their career. And we'll see longer careers where the best are fighting the best because there'll be proof in the pudding that the O doesn't mean it's the end. Like Lubin could have a better career, but I just think he didn't remain active enough after the loss.
Yeah,
so I think that
can I add a caveat to that?
Go ahead.
My only caveat to that is that when you look at Keyshawn Davis, he has 9 fights. The stage that you're speaking of, in my mind, is the stage that someone like Stanionis or Virgil Ortiz are at, right? That's the stage where it's time to start fighting each other, right? You got 18, 19 fights. We kind of see who it is that you are, the fighter that you can be.
Okay.
And now you guys need to fight each other and not wait around for the biggest names in the sport in order to make a fight. I like them at that stage to have that fight. And then the winner goes on to become a superstar. The loser has to reset, but still is in a position to be one of the best in that division. But Keyshawn at 9 fights, that's just too soon.
I feel you.
I can definitely understand that.
I definitely.
Cool. Okay, what you got, bro?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you in and out. Say that one more time, good brother.
Yeah, my internet tripping. I was just asking if you had some more perspective on that. If not, we'll throw it to Jay or ATL. Get y'all thoughts on it.
So yeah, from my perspective, for one, that the Keyshawn Davis thing, I agree with you, man. Like he does only have 9 fights. He needs a little bit more. I mean, you've got some guys that won championships. Look at Morajan Akhmadaliev, right? Like he had like 9 fights and he was like the world champ. You had Lomachenko. He came in his 3rd fight, I think it was, and he won a world title. You know what I'm saying? When he beat the dog shit out of my man Gary. But at the same time, you know what I mean? Like I've always felt like I've always kind of teetered and tottered with that, right? Me, I was born in '89, so when I started to watch boxing, you know what I'm saying? Like the maturation thing was that's what it was. You know what I mean? Like you had to let things marinate, you know. But prior to that, you know, like the Sugar Ray Leonards and things of that, and guys of that nature, I know it may have taken a little while to make some of those fights, but it seemed like these guys were young. You know, they were 25, 24, 23 years old.
Yeah.
Going to war with each other, you know what I'm saying? So that's what always seemed like to me, you know what I mean? I could be wrong because I wasn't born. My mom didn't know my dad when those guys fought each other, so you know what I mean? Like I wasn't there for that perspective, but it does seem like that letting things marinate, is, at least from what I've watched, letting things marinate can help a fight and can make it better. But then again, what happens when it marinates too much, right? Look at Floyd and Pac-Man. Of course, that was going to happen regardless. It was going to happen the same way. But you've got that doubt now saying, okay, if Manny was 30, you know what I mean? Like, it could have been different. You know what I'm saying?
We almost missed the window for the most part. Yeah.
Yeah.
100,
So, that's my take on it.
Jay, what you got, bro? Anything on that?
I mean, I don't mind fights marinating to a certain degree. You know, like Keyshawn, like Greg said earlier, he only got 9 fights. I mean, Keyshawn trips me out. I give Keyshawn props because he's calling for the smoke, but I think deep down he knows he's not really ready for it, because just a fight ago he's like, well, I'm a prospect. I only got 7-8 fights. You know, why people calling my name out? Now so he just also he's big macho, you know. So he's smart, he's playing the game, you know. So but I don't think he's ready for it just from an experience standpoint. And like Greg talked about, you know, Fernando Vargas and Dave Reed, putting those young fighters in a fight with the wrong person can damage their career. It could severely impact them. You know, you could lose a fight and come back, but if it's the wrong fight, man, they are done. They are done mentally. You know, if they're done mentally, it's over. I can forget about the physical gifts. It's all about it's mental for boxing, about 80 to 85%. So
I can agree with that for sure.
I'm cool with Keyshawn fighting a couple more steps up. You know, gets probably about 12, 13 fights in. Then let's see who's going to be in it, because we know the 135 is going to be completely different probably in another year. We know Dev ain't going to be there. Dev going to be gone probably after one more fight. You know, we don't know what Tank going to do. Is Tank going to sit around for 2 more fights and then retire, or is he going to stay around? What are you going to do then? You know, we're going to have Shakur and Frank going to be there still possibly, but Frank talking about he's a big 135 himself, so we don't know how long Frank going to cook at 135. So that can definitely change.
I think with Frank for sure. I want to throw some of these comments on the screen. Hey, Brandon House, welcome to the chat, bro. Hadn't seen you around. Hopefully you're a subscriber, man. Thank you for watching. And you've been throwing some good comments up here, so I want to get to some of this. First thing he said was Andy Cruz just signed with Matchroom. He about to shake up 135, so it looks like you're high on Andy Cruz. And then you says, I bet Keyshawn won't call him out after the losses he took from him in the amateurs. So this kind of goes into, this is one of those that I feel like is going to need the proper marination for the simple fact that they have history. So you really don't have to like marinate in a sense that you need to build dance partners. You just need to keep them apart until enough people know both of them, because they are a built-in dance partner. It's like Clarissa and Savannah didn't need to marinate necessarily because she been wanting to get that scalp back. They just needed to make sure Savannah had a high enough profile and enough knockouts on her record. So I think that's why you may not see Keyshawn do that, because from a business perspective, it could be bad for him. Now, let me see. K. Miller says, I'm good with Keyshawn making moves towards the title. Now, Kid Austin need time. I tend to agree with that. I met Kid Austin when I was in Vegas, and I think he can make 130, and I feel like he might do better at 130, to be honest. What do you guys think about Kid Austin? What are his prospects in your opinion? And how far out do you think he is from an actual title fight?
I haven't seen too much of his fights.
So I haven't seen too much of him.
I have to defer to y'all.
he getting showcase fights. I'm gonna be honest. He's got a lot of flaws. His last fight before the one on the Tank card, which was untelevised, he went from like co-main to an untelevised fight on the Tank card. So that tells you that they don't know what they want to do with him over there. He got a featured night where he was the main event on the Golden Boy card, and then they move him kind of weird and shit. So I don't know. Let's see what else we got. One more comment, and then we're gonna get to 140, and then we'll open it up to whatever anybody else wants to speak on. Let's see. Andy Cruz footwork too good. He the 135 version of David Morrell. Hey, could be. I need to see him in there with some pros and see what he's gonna do with some dudes that been banging at 135 for a minute. All right, so
I gotta watch him. I'm not familiar with him either. I have to watch him. Andy Cruz.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to do like a film study on him. We might have to jump on the live film study and get the tape and see what we could do. Now that he's official, yeah, we might could do that one Thursday or something like that. All right, so Michael Gillis says, who y'all got for Taylor Lopez? All right, so I'm gonna start with the panel and I'll bring up the rear. Greg, do you have a pick in Taylor versus Lopez?
It's an interesting fight, bro.
Okay.
Teofimo Lopez, he hasn't looked the same since the Cambosos fight. I think Teo has gotten into his own mind that he is an elite fighter that doesn't require improvement in his game and his skills. And because of that, he has not improved in his game and his skills since he beat Lomachenko. I think that Lomachenko was built up to be the king of the hill, the most skilled fighter in the sport, the next Floyd Mayweather, and because Teofimo was able to beat him, he thought that automatically elevated him to that point. I like Lomachenko, but he was never anywhere near Floyd Mayweather, period. And
Yeah,
so
that's just weird.
yeah, he was sold a bill of goods in terms of Teofimo Lopez. Didn't improve on his craft, didn't improve on his game. Already thought he was there. And now I think he has suffered because of that, and he hasn't improved on his skills. So based off of that, I have Josh Taylor beating him. His power has been irrelevant at 140 pounds based off his fight with Sandor Martin. And his skills haven't improved to the point where I believe that they could make up for the deficit in power, if you will. So I got Josh Taylor winning that fight.
I can dig it. Jay, who you got?
Yeah, on that one, I mean, just for what Teal's been talking, I want Taylor to beat his ass.
Exactly.
Just off that. You know, but I also think Taylor has better skill set than Teal. I mean, look, something to what Greg was talking about. When Teal beat Loma, ESPN had Loma being one of the best fighters ever. They had him better than Floyd, not to Floyd, better than Floyd, better than Ali. They were all on that bullshit capping for him.
Erasing big fools and everything.
Everything, right? Everything. Like they said, oh, Loma didn't lose. Oh yeah, he did. He lost to Salido. Then they talking about, oh, he's the first to download data. Y'all got that from Floyd. Floyd was the first one I remember talking about. He's downloaded information.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you can see Floyd processing that, literally putting it in action in each round after round 2. It's your ass after round 2 with Floyd, unless he's going to carry the fight like he did with Conor McGregor. We all know he carried that fight for like 6 fights before without throwing a punch. Now with Tio, he lost to Sandor Martin. Man, let's be real. He lost that fight.
You had that as a loss?
I had that as a loss. As a draw at best.
I had
it as a loss, man. I had it as a loss. But the fact that he came out,
it was close.
Fight, do I still have it? You question yourself if you still got it?
Yeah.
And now saying he's rewarded with a title fight now? Make it make sense.
I don't get it.
It was shitty optics. It was shitty optics for sure. ATL, who you got? Taylor or Tio?
I'm going with Taylor. Just like old boy said, hey, talking that mess. And I just think Taylor is better than him anyway. Like, anyway, just like he said, that last fight with Sandor Martin, he really didn't show me nothing. Like, nothing new. He ain't doing nothing but running his mouth ever since he lost. You know, and I don't see him going nowhere, bro. But down. I think after this fight, he need to go on and hang it up, go and see a counselor, go on and get that mental evaluation taken care of. You know what I'm saying? Because he's delusional right now, man. I don't know what's going on with him.
Yeah, no, he definitely got some major issues. Cool K, who you got? Taylor Tio.
I'm sticking with the group here, man. I'm going with Taylor. You know, Taylor is the more skilled fighter, I think, than Teofimo Lopez.
100%.
But one thing that nobody even talks about is that, you know, from the mental aspect of like having a trainer, right? Tio's father is not really a good trainer if you really think about it. Like, as far as making adjustments, like he'll just tell him, all right, son, you got to hit him with the 1-2. You can do this, man. You can do this. Okay, he's not on your fucking level, man. He's not on your level at all. Kick his ass. Like, no, we need you to tell me what I need to do. You know what I mean? Like, look at Roger Mayweather when he was no, matter of fact, not even Roger. We can go father son, and we could talk Floyd and Floyd Senior. You know what I'm saying? He'll tell you, listen, that 1-2 is there. You know what I mean? Like, you got to keep moving. You got to keep doing this. Got to keep doing that. I
definitely agree that his dad is his downfall.
Yep.
He's a motivational speaker. Like, he's not a trainer for him. So that's
exactly.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Hey, I put him right there with Coach Bullet. So I guess we're going 5 for 5 on this one. Man, Bullet a hell of a motivator, but I don't know if he can teach boxing. I'm gonna stick with the group, stick to chalk. We're going 5 for 5, and I'm gonna pick Taylor as well. And my biggest reason for that is because I think that, like Cool K said, the overall skill set is just greater than Tio, and Tio doesn't have the power like he had at 35 to make up for the skill deficit. At 35, he could overcome certain things because he could just bull through, and he was more athletic. At 140, that's just not there. Bullet catches strays. Hey, man, I got to screenshot that. That's funny. Bullet catches strays. But all of that to say, I just think that from a skill standpoint, as long as Josh Taylor is as close to 100% as he can be, because he's coming off back-to-back, I believe, foot injuries, plantar fascia, if I'm not mistaken, that can really change. Like, I don't know if any of y'all had that injury, but it's painful as fuck. So
Tim
if he can
Duncan had it,
overcome
didn't
that, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, like a lot of athletes had it, Dion has had it, but yeah, it could debilitate you when you're trying to do your craft. As long as he's recovered and everything's good, then it's good to go. And I favor him in that fight. So another fight we want to get into. Hey, Mike Gillis, we will talk about Forte Inoue. That's kind of a niche fight. I know everybody don't get into that one. I'll be happy to break it down for you. But we're going to talk about Haney versus Loma because we still at 135-ish. I hadn't moved on yet. So Haney versus Loma, we got a couple weeks. And
I'm kind of nervous about this fight, man.
okay, well, you spoke up first, so we throwing the mic to you. Mic check 1 2. What's your perspective?
I'm kind of nervous about this fight, man, because from Deontay Wilder through Top Rank and all that, you know what was going on behind the scenes. If you know, you know. But I think by Devin Haney saying, you know, I never get beat by a white boy and all this. I don't. Something just telling me something ain't gonna be right, man. Something gonna be thrown off. I just had that feeling, man, and I don't want him to get, you know, I don't want him to feel kind of the same way Deontay Wilder felt, man. But something just telling me that with him talking and saying all that, how Bob Arum been talking, you know, different about Lomachenko, it just don't feel right, man. Of course, I want Haney to win because, you know, Haney is great. He's undisputed. He's doing his thing, but man, it's something rubbing me wrong about this fight, man, and I don't know.
Got that sneaking feeling, that sinking feeling about it.
Yeah,
I feel you. You know, every now and then I have a gut feeling about a fight. I kind of felt like that about Spence Ugas. It didn't go how I thought it would. I just had a sinking feeling about the fight, but Spence ended up pulling it out and dominating to some degree. I'm gonna go to Cool K. We're gonna come back to you now. What do you think about Haney Loma? You're on mute, fam. We ain't got no audio from you. We ain't got no sound. I'm gonna throw it to Jay while you get it cleaned up. Jay, who you got? Loma Haney. I know you guys are gonna make videos, so you ain't gotta give details, but
I mean, I'm with ATL unanimous, man. I mean, something don't feel right about it. I think honestly, I feel like Devin can win, but I feel like something might not happen right. I feel a robbery can happen. He's gonna have to dominate Loma, make it where it's not even a close decision at all. Otherwise, I think they'll get him. I can't count Loma out because he's a slick fighter with angles that Devin hasn't seen before. And Devin has some weaknesses that we noticed against Kambosos, Linares, and JoJo. You know, I didn't like the way he reaches out, susceptible to the uppercut, and Loma's very slick with it, you know, but I don't know. I also think that Loma's kind of concerned himself because he's made all the excuses already. What is this, heavyweight? You know, he's always right. Saying some slick shit where he's not fully confident like he was against other fighters. So I'm like kind of in between, but I don't trust. I trust. I see a robbery that could happen easily if Devin don't win convincingly. But I got Devin by UD 7-5.
I definitely could see how that will go that way. Greg, throwing it to you. What do you think about this? I mean, feel free to give a prediction. I know, like I said, you guys make content too, so I know you can't give away the goose. But what do you think?
Yeah. So, Chicken Talk, he mentioned that you know, Devin has some flaws in his game, and you know, he mentioned that again on our show, and you know, I told Jason, you know. Jay know how I felt about Devin Haney prior to the Kambosos fight. I liked him, but I saw weaknesses in his game. He exposed himself. Shut the fuck up. There were holes in his game that I saw that were that I felt there were always going to be a challenge for Devin Haney. And so when you think about Vasyl Lomachenko, the angles, the speed, he has slowed down a bit. I don't think the Jermaine Ortiz fight was an anomaly. I think he has slowed down a bit. But Devin has holes in his game.
Yeah.
Do I believe that Devin can capitalize on being a bigger fighter, the longer fighter, rangier fighter with a good jab and keeping Lomachenko out? He can. Devin does have a tendency to duck to his right, which coincidentally left him wide open for that straight left from Jojo Diaz. Lomachenko is a better fighter. If I saw Lomachenko in the ring with Devin Haney in that fight, I would say Lomachenko would destroy him. I'm going to lean to the belief that Devin Haney has gotten better since that Jojo Diaz fight. Is it a possibility that Kambosos just really wasn't that good and couldn't expose the flaws in Devin's game? Possibly. But like I told Chicken Talk, no matter what I saw, I was going to come right back to Devin Haney. So I'm sticking with that until the ship sinks. So I got Devin Haney.
Bet. Okay. So for me,
Can y'all hear me?
yeah, you good, fam. We can hear you.
Yeah.
Can hear you. Yeah, you coming in
Okay.
clean. All right.
My bad.
I think you didn't get the opportunity to drop your piece on this one, did you, Haney Loma?
No, it was like I got something's wrong.
Okay,
But,
well, yeah, go ahead and tap in.
Yeah, so for me personally, Lomachenko is a really skilled fighter, man. Like that dude, man. Like, I mean, I feel like what my man over there was saying, like, yeah, he got hyped up to be the greatest in the history of mankind and all that. Yeah, he was never that. You know what I'm saying? But I think that he is highly skilled, and we do know that, as you stated, Devin Haney does have some weaknesses, some flaws to his game. You know what I mean? Now I think he has probably the best jab in boxing, personally. It's an argument between him and Stephen Fulton and Bivol and all those guys, but he does have an amazing jab that's really quick. Loma has slowed down, right? Like we got to keep that a beam, right? He has started to kind of lose his that untouchable aurora that he had at one point. You know what I'm saying? Where you saw how he called him the Matrix and everything like that. Now he's looking like the Matrix Reloaded. You know what I mean? So it's like, with that being said, he can be touched. What I would like to see is what happens when the distance closes to inside. I really want to know if Devin Haney can embrace his, Devin Haney's like 140 now for real. He's a 140 guy for real now.
Yeah,
so
being
it's
the
just
bigger guy.
Yeah, he's the bigger guy. He's the physically stronger guy. And I think that he brings athleticism, you know what I'm saying, to a fight that, Loma's never had to deal with against him. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen anybody that you felt, well, you know what, what's his name, man? The boy he beat up. That was my guy, too. Rigondeaux was super athletic himself. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, he has seen something like that as far as, like, that type of speed and foot speed and all that. But I'm really interested to see what happens when the distance closes to that inside clinch range type of fighting. What is he going to be able to do when that happens? But I'm gonna go with Devin Haney personally. I'm gonna go with Devin, but I wouldn't be shocked if Loma pulled it off.
For sure. Hold on, we're about to add somebody to the stream. Hey, we got Just Mike on the mic. What up with you?
Yo, what's good?
What's happening, man? Welcome to the panel, fam. Hey, thanks for joining, man. So we talking Haney Loma. So
yeah, man,
if you want to give your perspective.
I love this fight so much as a boxing fan.
Okay.
I love Devin. I love Loma. But for me, this fight, like the Jojo fight, showed me everything I needed to see in this fight because Jojo Diaz was like his best was at 122, 126. And he was all up in Devin's face. He even buzzed Devin a little bit. Even Devin admitted that. And like he was getting the thing is with Devin, like he's a skilled boxer, but like he's killing himself to make 135. So he has no power anymore. He used to have power. He used to be able to knock some people out, but he has no power anymore. So he's all up in your face. We know that Lomachenko we would all say that he has more power than Devin as well at 135. But also when Devin wants to clinch, we all seen like Loma is not gonna be there for the clinch. Like he's gonna fight out of those, and as that's gonna tire Haney even more. I'm not sure who I have, but I'm leaning more towards Loma. But I will say like Devin's gonna win the first 4, maybe 5 rounds, and Loma wins the last 3, maybe 4 rounds. That's what I do know because Loma always finishes strong.
Good
But also don't forget that this is Loma's Haney's last fight on Top Ring, and he was talking about I want my freedom back and all that shit. And you remember what they did to Manny Pacquiao when it was his last fight on Top Rank?
Yeah.
With Jeff Horton? They robbed the shit out of him. So
See, that's what I was talking about.
Yep.
yeah,
Politics strike.
they robbed the shit out of Manny. So they'll do it to Loma, and you know why they'll do it? I mean Haney, and then they'll make a big legacy fight with Shakur if Haney.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's basically if they steal it from Haney, they're handing it to Shakur. That's just the coronation of Shakur. So yeah, I tend to agree with you right there for sure. It's gonna look a little funny. Now I know Jay is about to drop off. Hey Jay, thanks for joining, bro. Thank y'all for all the support from Angry Man Podcast. Y'all go subscribe to my brothers as soon as possible. They have a super dope channel, a lot of content. They should look way better than mine. Their visual stuff is super. They got videos playing in the background and shit. Like it look cool, man. But anyway, check them bros out, man. They doing really great content. 2 to 3 videos a day minimum. They like machines, man. So go support my brothers and appreciate you, Jay, man. You're welcome anytime over here.
Appreciate you.
I'm already subscribed. I watched y'all earlier today, so I'm rocking with y'all.
Good, brother.
So you saw me and Greg going at it. So
Yeah.
it's all day. Y'all got a good thing going over here, T, and everyone on the panel. We're gonna check y'all out as well. Y'all be easy now.
Appreciate you, man.
Hey, we got Jason Williams in the chat. Hey, Jason Williams in the chat. He is somebody that I know from the Angry Man chat. We'll be over there going back and forth. Solid dude, know his boxing shit for real, for real. I dropped the link. Anybody that wants to join the panel, we open panel. Give everybody the opportunity to speak their piece. Now back to just Mike, what you were saying, fam. Yeah, I feel like the potential for some type of robbery if Haney don't take care of some type of business in the next week to say, if I win, put me in there with Shakur. So he kind of got like a way to extend like an option at the end of the contract, because if he's trying to get out of there and find a way to get the Tank, I believe Bob Arum and company are going to hold him down, and that could be a problem.
I don't believe him when he says he wants to stay at 135, bro. And honestly, I wouldn't even I want that fight realistically, like him and Tank, but I wouldn't want that at 135. Or I wouldn't want him and Shakur or him and Tank at 135 because he's literally killing himself. Like, I understand that every fighter goes into the ring, like they're never 100%, but he would be a lot better at 140. He can't make this weight anymore. He's been making this weight since he was 17. Yeah. He's 20. What is he, 24 now?
He's 24 or 25.
Yeah, he's 24.
Yeah, like he needs to move up. And even if he goes to 140, I don't know how long he'll be at 140. Yeah. He's a big dude, bro.
He is a big dude. You're right about that, man.
What up, though?
What's good?
Yeah. So I initially, because I haven't given my Loma Haney perspective necessarily, besides saying, I'm going to lean a certain way. But initially, I had it after the last Loma fight. I had a heavy Haney. Given time to do some research and a little bit more film study, I don't know how much of that Loma was ring rust. And because of that, it makes it harder to pick. I still lean Haney 60-40. I had it lopsided Haney for real. I'm at 60-40 right now, and there's no disrespect to Loma. I'm a firm believer in Father Time is undefeated. And I think that in there long enough with a young guy, there's an opportunity for that youth and some skill, because Haney is hella skilled. That youth and skill can overcome, that youth and skill can overcome Loma's experience. And when you get later in the fight, when Loma's trying to come on, Haney's not going to get tired like Ortiz did. He's still going to have gas in the tank.
I don't know about that.
Because he's been economic for the first 6 rounds. You think Haney's gas tank is questionable? Tell me about it.
I think Haney's gas tank is questionable sometimes. And especially the pace that Loma's going to set for him, bro, is going to be tough for him in those later rounds. He starts to fade. Like, he's still like a good boxer, but he starts to fade in those later rounds. Like, you can catch him a lot later. You know what I mean? A lot more.
I know you're watching fights on the regular, and I know you're watching film, obviously. Give me something to go back and watch, because I want to be able to refer to that. Okay. Is there a particular fight you saw that? Just give me one.
Definitely go watch the JoJo fight. Rewatch that entire thing. And then rewatch the Linares fight. I know he got hurt in that, but he got hurt because he got tired as well too. But even the first Kambosos fight, that one too as well. Go watch those fights.
I felt like in both Kambosos fights, he was on cruise. In fact, it didn't seem like he broke a sweat in the first one, and he broke a sweat in the second one because he wanted to prove a point. But I'm going to go back and watch those. I got a little time to watch, so I definitely go back and watch, because I want to see if he what he's showing that's going to be a vulnerability to Loma, because again, that can help sway my perspective one way or the other. We got Chicken Talk in the building, aka Lefty. What's good with you, fam?
What up, though? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, bro. We just talking to little Haney Loma, and I know you got
is this Lefty OG?
Yeah.
Is that Lefty
what's
OG
good?
over there? Oh, that's tough,
good?
man. I follow you on Twitter, gang.
What was that? Well, who's that? What's your name?
On Twitter it's LL Cool Kid. Yeah.
Oh,
LL
okay.
Cool K. But yeah,
Yeah.
my bad.
That's my guy.
Okay, I'll follow you on Twitter too.
Can I ask y'all though, like, what
Go ahead.
advantages does Devin have, or how many advantages does Devin have over Loma? Other than the age thing, we all know that.
I can count
Size.
3 specifically. Okay, that's one.
Am I back?
Yeah,
had
you
to get
good.
off
You
my
good.
Wi-Fi. Yeah, my fault. I was
No,
outside.
you
I'm about
good.
to go pick up my wing stop in a minute. But
I was gonna say you gonna get some
I had to
chicken.
agree with my man. Yeah, I had to agree with my man who was talking about Haney fades late. I agree 100% with him. He does fade
Okay.
late. He's
Okay.
good at he's good at hiding it, and he hadn't had anybody to push that pace to
Mhm.
expose him. I think that's what Loma.
And Loma
Loma's
always
doing.
comes on strong in those later rounds. He always does. He did in the Jermaine Ortiz fight and the
Right.
Teo fight as well too. He's held. After round 7, he's held.
Yeah. No,
I
I can
think-
agree with that.
Yeah, and I
Loma's
think
gonna
that-
bring the pressure late. ATL, go ahead.
I also think Haney
you were
got
asking
some-
good fights to go.
I seen Haney lifting a lot of weights in his training camp.
I was gonna say that too. Say that too.
Bro, y'all see that picture that he posted? Like, I don't know, it was like 3 weeks ago. He looked big as shit, man.
Yeah, he's fucking
This
huge,
weight cut's
man.
not gonna be easy for him.
Yeah. If he lifting weights this close to the fight, he
He's
definitely
not.
gonna have trouble cutting weight. All right, Lefty, what was you about to say though, man?
Oh, you were asking what fights to go watch. And yeah, the Linares fight is a good fight to watch to see how, even though he was active, he was in the pocket and he was tagging Linares. It wasn't slowing Linares down. And also the JoJo fight is the perfect fight to watch because that's the
That's
left hand.
perfect one.
That's a softball. And
Softball,
JoJo was doing JoJo. We got to remember JoJo is a national amateur champion. He does little tricky things in there here and there in that fight.
Yeah.
But for the most part, he was just earmuffs and walking forward. And so when you hear a lot of people talking about, I don't know if Haney can get inside that jab. If JoJo can, Haney definitely can get inside. Loma can definitely get inside Haney's jab.
Yeah,
easily.
JoJo
A
was
lot
constantly
easier than JoJo.
he was constantly throwing like a right hook and then straight down the pipe, and he was catching Devin. And
So-
Loma will probably do that if not quicker than JoJo.
So that tells me, so we're talking about earmuffs, high guard, getting past the jab, all that good stuff. Who does that sound like in the shorter stature fighter? Who does that sound like that we're talking about Haney potentially fighting?
Take.
Right?
Right.
So, and people are like, oh, Haney will wash him. If it's anybody that'll wash Tank, in my opinion,
It's Shakur.
it's Shakur, but that's for another day. That's for another day, though. I don't even want to open that can of worms right now because
Man,
we talk
Shakur,
about Haney,
I'm
and I
just
want to
gonna
make
say,
sure.
I know you don't want to get into it, but Shakur clears all these guys. I'm just gonna say that right now.
Listen, that's on the next
I'm not
episode
gonna
of
go that
Dragon
far.
Ball Z,
I ain't gonna go that far.
All
He,
right.
he clears
do
all
think he
these
beat-
guys, bro.
I do think
We
he
can
beats.
bet money
I
on it
can't
and
tell
all
that
that.
off.
We can bet money.
I mean, off of Yoshino, Oscar Valdez, and Herring, I can't go that far. Those are all good wins, but you got to put them in the context of what they are. Which I was very impressed with the Yoshino win for the simple fact that when you got a guy in there who ain't on your level, you get him out of there, and that's
And he
exactly
did
what he did. Whereas
Yeah.
we see Haney every single time with a guy in there ain't on his level, he can't. Not only can't he get him out of there, the guy finishes strong.
Yeah.
Every guy finishes strong against him. It's not like guys are winded after 12 rounds fighting Haney. They finish strong against him. So
Well,
that
that's
plays direct.
I think that's not in Haney's DNA. Like I feel like he's so cautious, man. Like he don't want to try to finish you because he feel like
Risk
if he get
averse.
caught with something.
No, I
Yeah,
have to
I be feeling
disagree.
like that. Yeah, where you
I
see
have
that at?
to
Risk
disagree
averse. That's what they call it.
because he
Okay.
he used to go for knockouts and all that. If you watch when he first signed the Matchroom, those first couple of
When he
fights
first
were
got
like he got knockouts. It's just because it's the weight cutting, bro. He doesn't have any more power. He went
I don't
12
think-
rounds with Gamboa, bro. He went 12 rounds.
I don't think it's because he's cutting weight that he doesn't have the power, because a significant part of power, I would say 40 to 45% of power, is timing and speed. It's not just your natural strength. You should have enough to keep people off you. For Haney, I think he's not committed to the punches. it's not. I'm not saying he's scared, so let's not twist that. But I just think that Haney doesn't commit to punches. He don't sit down on punches. I mean, he's trying to get in and out, and that's stopping him from landing significant shots on people.
Okay.
You're saying like arm punches.
Okay.
What do y'all think about
arm
his
punches?
What do y'all think about his punch technique itself? That right hand he throws, particularly that not the straight right, but that looping right that you usually try to throw against a softball. What do y'all think about that looping right he throws?
Like it's gonna.
It I don't know, man. It just doesn't look.
I don't think that's not going to work for Loma. I know what you're talking about. That's not going to work for Loma.
He's not comfortable with the punch, and that's the part of it. If you're not committed to, I'm throwing this and putting myself at risk, I'm not going to commit because I need to kind of let it go and get out of there. So, and that, remember, your backhand is coming from the furthest, and against a southpaw, to try and get on the inside of them and get that land, you got to change your foot placement. There's some technical issues that make that punch not effective. I think he even threw some version of it against Kambosos, but it kind of was it kind of like an overhand loop, like a swivel jab, or not a jab, but like a swivel backhand. I get what you're saying. Yeah,
I'm gonna send you a video of it.
Okay, yeah, I like to see that because if it's what I'm picturing, he's just not committed to the punch being significant.
I feel you. Like it sounds like what you're saying is he's kind of.
I appreciate you, bro.
Hey, listen, if you wanna watch Devin commit to punches, go watch his Zor Abdallah fight. He was trying to get him out of there in that fight, and he actually broke his shoulder for that. So,
I'll definitely do some more research because I don't like to, especially I got to do a fight prediction coming up. I really don't like to do a prediction without getting the proper research. And I've seen certain flaws in Devin, and there's not enough southpaws on his resume to say this is really how he responds. But at the same time, there's enough on there to say these are the things he needs to work on. Now, if there's some other flaws, I definitely want to take a look. So I'm going to go back and look at some fights before I make a prediction and just figure out what I really think about him versus Loma. Because at the end of the day, I just think that Loma's not going to have the legs late in the fight. But if Devin is fading, like y'all say, that shit might not even matter. So that makes a big difference. And as far as like kind of going into, let's say Devin is able to get past Loma. They don't rob him. He's able to do what he need to do. All right. If he and Tank are able to set up a fight, how do y'all see that going? Because I don't think I've talked to anybody on the panel about this particular matchup. So I want to hear y'all perspective.
Can I go first?
Sure, go ahead.
So first and foremost, y'all, I have to say that I was sleeping on Tank's skills for the longest. I really was. I don't know if it was like a casual thing. I just looked at him like, all right, it's some big ass boy with bricks for two hands. He just knocking everybody the fuck out. Like I always just looked at him like he's one of those guys. Until I watched the Garcia fight, and I just kind of seen how he sets traps. You know what I mean? I'm like, wow, I didn't really peep that. You know what I mean? And then I seen the joint with Garcia. And although Garcia isn't the most skilled fighter, the way he took away his jab, like the only thing Garcia needed to use a jab. Ryan Garcia, he needed to use that jab. You know what I'm saying? And he took it away by like kind of timing that joint with his lead hand and everything like that. Like, I was like, yo, like what the I never knew he had all that in him. So with that being said, you would think that Haney's chance of beating Tank is outboxing him with skill for skill. But I'm now questioning if Haney is even that much more skilled than Tank, if he's even more skilled than him at all. You know what I'm saying? The power he's got it, right? I think that he has the physicality to really, really put some hurting on Haney as well. You know what I'm saying? And I see this comment saying Tank by KO. I honestly, I used to think that Haney would outbox him, but now I'm starting to really lean towards Tank actually, possibly knocking him out, man. Yeah. Like for sure.
I could definitely agree with that. Just Mike, what you think about it? Have you considered this particular matchup? Or are you in the moment with what's already scheduled?
Haney and
Tank.
And Tank.
Haney and Tank.
I'd 140. I'd say it's a 50-50 chance at 140, but at 135, I think if Tank wants to press the action on Devin, he's definitely gonna knock him out.
Yeah.
But I don't know like how it would go stylistically. I'd have to go rewatch that. But honestly, I don't think that's a fight we'll ever get. To be honest with you.
If it got to be at 140, it ain't gonna never happen. Tank and his people already. Tank basically let it be known he prefers not to do 140. The money would have to be so crazy for him to do it. That's the only way. They got to guarantee him a lot of money. Lefty, what you think, man? Tank and Devin. I feel like I already know what you think.
Well, yeah, Tank will knock that boy out. Devin is not getting past Loma, so we got to start talking about Loma Shakur as the next fight. Devin is not getting past Loma.
So
I mean, I am so confident in this fight. I haven't been this confident in a while. I haven't been this confident in an upset since Bivol over Canelo. I put it that way. Where I'm picking
that
heavy
wasn't
underdog.
even an upset for real. People just don't know about Bivol.
Yeah,
that was
exactly.
An easy
People
pick.
just didn't know.
So
That's the same. I feel the same way about this fight. I feel like people are assigning attributes to Devin Haney that he doesn't have. Like when people say that he needs to, that he's going to keep low on the outside with the jab. Well, my man, you couldn't do it against JoJo. You landed 10 total jabs against JoJo. From round 9 to 9-12, you didn't land not one jab. So how are you going to keep Loma on the outside?
Did he actually land? He only landed 10 jabs, or you
yes, he went 5 out of the 6 rounds. He didn't land a jab at all. From 9 to 10, from 9 to 12, and round 5, he didn't land a jab at all. So if you can't jab and keep JoJo at bay, you're not going to keep Loma at bay. By the 4th round, I think it was the 4th round, not the 4th round, 2nd round, JoJo had his timing down already. But, you know, he's a lot more athletic than JoJo. He's a lot more, you know, he was able to, and even in the exchanges, he was losing the exchanges with JoJo, but he's able to, he's athletic enough to get away from him. And
also, I forgot to say this. Devin cannot fight on the inside, and Loma's a really good inside fighter.
He
can't fight on the inside. He was losing all the exchanges.
Devin's inside game definitely is a weak spot. Go ahead, Kuka.
It is a weak spot. What I was going to say though is that, like, see, I look at, and that's where I'm so excited to see this fight, because we know that Lomachenko's inside game is just way better than Devin's, right? But Devin is physically, I feel like he's so much bigger now. You know what I mean? So it's like, I really wonder, like, if he can get the clinch and he can like lock his arm, like, you know what I mean? Like, can he really stop all of that shit inside? You know what I mean? Like, can he do that? Can he wrestle him and stuff like that? Like, that's what I'm really want to see that fight for, to be honest.
Yeah, but Loma's not an easy guy to clinch. Like, he always fights out of those clinches in every fight.
Right, and he does. He does.
Yeah, out of every other fighter, he puts in the most effort to not get clinched. Like, that's
right.
tiring. That's tiring.
Well, I mean, Loma is like that European version of Slick, right? You know, can move, doesn't over engage, knows how to use their combinations to set up other things. You know, that's as slick as you're gonna get with that particular type of fighter, right?
Right.
And again, my biggest thing that had me leaning one way was just because I didn't know if I should trust what I saw against Ortiz or if I should trust what I've seen from Loma up to that point. And then I'm starting to think about Father Time. That's the biggest thing. I'm gonna watch the film and figure it out, because the issues that Haney has, if he's gonna fade late and it becomes an inside fight late, he gonna get beat up. Now I don't think Loma can stop him, but I could see that leaning the other way. I mean, and I had it heavily favoring. Listen, I was leaning heavy Haney.
How many times have you watched that? How many times have you watched the Jermaine Ortiz fight?
Just twice.
I only seen it once.
I think it was ring rust, bro. I don't know if it was old age. I can't decide. But I will say the Loma that fought Nakathila or Comey, he would knock out Devin. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I think that Jermaine Ortiz fight been greatly overrated, especially with the eye injury had somewhat of a part to play in it. But I think Ortiz was active, busy, and game. I don't think he was doing really as much as people want to try to make it seem like he was actually doing in that ring. He was getting countered a lot. He was getting pushed back a lot. And
he faded.
He was just acting. He was just a game fighter. You know, he was in there because he was familiar with the fighter he was fighting. They had sparred so much. He was familiar with him, and he was just in there active. But Loma was still piecing him up and landing more scoring blows. Jermaine Ortiz was doing a lot of shoe shining and, you know, throwing punches and being active to make it look like it was a lot closer than what it was, in my opinion.
And he was giving different looks too, because he switched his stance a few times too, and was giving different looks. And I think from a visual perspective, that can kind of skew your thoughts on the fight. I mean, I'm gonna take y'all word for it. I'm not one that's, you know, I get entrenched in the perspective and I can't be swayed a different way. Now,
Same.
before we move into, I'm gonna open it up because you brought it up, and we're gonna talk about it for a few before we close out Shakur and Loma, if that outcome happens. Now, the other way is Haney Tank. I just wanted to get my perspective, then we'll look at the other matchup. So for me, I just believe that Tank has too many tools in the tool bag. When I evaluate a fight, I look at what each fighter does well. I might write it down, and I look at what they could do to eliminate the other strong suits. And whoever still has tools left, I typically favor that fighter as long as they're healthy and they're not drained. That's all that matters to me. And I just think that when you go tool for tool, Tank just has more tools, because then at the end of the day, you could take the power out. Tank still commits to his shots. He's got that dog where he's going to take a punch to give a punch. And I think that he's got some advantages being a smaller fighter to get inside and make Haney work. And once he break inside that defense, it's a wrap. So that's kind of my perspective on how that would go. So let's say Loma wins, because I'm going to have to bet with Lefty if he feels that strongly about it. So if Loma wins and we get this mega fight against Shakur, what do y'all think of that matchup?
I'm
Shakur
going
beats
Shakur, man.
Shakur beats
beat
him,
everybody to me,
Shakur
man.
beat everybody, bro.
This
I
when
think
you
he
see
beat
Father
everybody.
Time actually play a part in the fight, because Loma fights, not Loma. Haney doesn't fight like a young, fresh fighter, whereas Shakur does. Loma is more of a pot shot. Not Loma. Haney is more of a pot shot. Throw, the 1-2, the 2-1, the 1-3. That's more of, he's not active. Shakur is gonna get in there, tag his ass. That's where you're gonna see the speed, the big difference in youth, in my opinion, because Shakur fights like a young guy.
Oh, for sure.
Whereas
Devin
Haney fights like a 34-year-old Floyd Mayweather.
he definitely has adopted that more slow paced, and that's how people start telling you your fights are boring, because you come in with that slow pace. Cool K, what you think about it? Shakur Loma. What would that look like for you?
Loma? Listen, man, when I watch Shakur, like, it's just wow. I mean, like I said, I truly believe that Floyd Mayweather Jr. is the greatest fighter ever. Like, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna always feel this way. You know what I'm saying? There's no other way that nobody could ever. Yeah, you talked about the perspective thing. Like, I'm just entrenched in that. It'll never change for me. Shakur is so freaking skilled, yo. Like, it's just like it's disgusting. You know what I'm saying? It's just like he's got every fucking tool in the box. You know what I mean? Like, it's everything. Like, and I feel like even if he lost his toolbox, he'd just go to Home Depot and buy a whole new one. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just he just got too much, yo. It's just like, man. So it's just like, as Lefty was saying, man, he fights like a young, fresh fighter. You know what I'm saying? Lomachenko's 34, 35 years old. You know what I mean? So it's just like his best, like all the athleticism that he did have in 2016 and 17, like, it's not here in 2023. You know what I'm saying? I would be more interested in seeing if we could, like, somehow go in a fucking time machine and then bring Loma from like 2019 or 18 or something like that to fight Shakur. That would be great. But I think as of right now, Shakur is just too skilled. It's just too skilled. He's got the youth going on. He's gonna be moving around, all of that shit, getting inside. He's got an inside game. He's got everything. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I don't think Loma can beat it. Sorry, I went on a long rant, but yeah, I just don't see.
Nah, you laid it out. You laid it out perfectly, and that's what we was looking for. Just Mike, what you think about the matchup itself?
Yeah, but that's a good matchup. Shakur is younger. He's longer. He's faster. Like I agree with what this guy was saying. Like, Shakur's skills, like, it's the little things that he does in the ring that makes him, like, it's high level boxing. Like, he's always circling to the right. Like, his punch placement is great. He doesn't waste any punches. Like, he's way better than any of these guys. I'd pick him to beat Loma, Devin, Tank. Quite easily.
Distance control is ridiculous.
The distance control, his ring IQ. Shakur
let me say this though. I think he beats Loma, but let me say this: Loma is gonna be his toughest fight he ever had too.
Nah.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not going.
I'm not no big Loma
tough
fan.
fight.
I'm not no big Loma fan.
I
but
think he will.
I all respect the guy that's Loma has always been in there. I ain't never seen him back. Loma ain't no pussy. Basically, what I'm saying.
He ain't dunked nobody.
He ain't no bitch. So if he in that ring with you, he gonna have to fight and beat his ass. Even when he came back against JoJo, that was a good comeback. He had it. He lost. Not JoJo. Tio. He lost the fight, but he came back and fought his ass off to try to win that fucking fight. Loma ain't no bitch.
Yeah.
So he just not gonna get washed by nobody. That's gonna be a good ass fight.
I feel like, even though I think it'll be hella competitive, you ever seen a really competitive unanimous decision? I still feel like Shakur rounds will be obvious. and then the Loma rounds will be obvious. And I think that some of it would be Shakur coming off the gas a little bit just to reserve something for late when Loma tries to rally. But for the most part, I just feel like it'll be one-sided to that point, but hella competitive where Loma ain't in there laying down. He ain't on his bike trying to stay out the way. He's going to be there to fight. I just think that age difference in Shakur's style is going to be enough if they were to get in the ring to make it a difference. So one more fight I want to cover. I don't know. Did you bring it up, Mike, or was it somebody else? Fulton versus Inoue. Okay, we could talk about
I gotta
that.
go pick up my food.
Okay,
I gotta go pick up my food, but let me just leave on this. I like Fulton. I went to Minnesota to see him versus Roman, but I've been an Inoue fan for a lot longer, and I've always liked Inoue a lot better. I like both of these fighters. I'm glad they're fighting, but Inoue by stoppage.
okay.
All right, y'all.
All right, fam. Hey, appreciate you.
Yeah.
So yeah, that fight, like for me, that's the fight. Like when I heard that shit was postponed, bro, I almost cried.
Yeah.
That shit hurt me, man, because I want this. I'm so hyped for that fight. Like stylistically,
Damn, that shit was today, wasn't it?
It was supposed to be today. It was supposed to be a few hours ago. But yeah, it's July 25th. I think they scheduled it for, or 17th or some shit like that. But
that was a sad moment. I'm with you.
Yeah, that hurt me, bro. I was at work and then I saw that. I was like, no, my heart dropped. I was like, no. But yeah, that fight, like stylistically, like, listen, Fulton is in Japan, so the thing is, he has to do something to, sway the judges.
Yeah,
he has to step to in a way, in that fight. But Fulton doesn't really step to anybody like that. Like, if you have him on the ropes, he's gonna fight off the ropes. You can engage him, like you can draw him out into firefights. You can. He did that in the Danny Roman fight and the other one I can't. The Brandon Figueroa fight, which that fight actually showed you that Stephan is durable, because Figueroa is a big ass dude. He's a big ass dude.
Went right up to 26. Yeah,
exactly. So, but the thing is, if you step to Inoue, that gives Inoue more chances to counter you and knock you out if you do that.
Sure.
So I'm leaning towards Inoue. I can't wait to see that fight. I wouldn't say by knockout, probably, well, maybe by knockout. But also, before I forget, the thing is with Inoue, in the show, in some of his other fights, in the Paul Butler fight, if you circle around him, he has problems with that. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah, he wants to be able to stand, and sit down on his punches.
Man, that's a I don't know if we've talked on Twitter or not before, but that's a pretty fair assessment. It's like doing this channel, when I talk about that particular fight, it's real polarizing. I either get people that's heavy Inoue or heavy Fulton. So when I get somebody that you gave plus and minus for both guys. You gave something a path to victory for both. So you've entertained the idea that you might favor one particular guy, but you understand that the other guy has an opportunity to win. So I definitely respect your perspective. And like I said, if we don't talk on Twitter or whatever, definitely let's follow each other so we can keep chopping it up for when in between these videos. But me and Cool K, we actually kind of start to get to know each other better over some of the Fulton Inoue videos that I've done in the past when the fight was steaming up, right? And I'm going to throw it to him first because we've had some pretty extensive conversations. So I'm going to let him drop his knowledge on you all, and then I'll bring up the rear with my perspective on the fight too.
I'm just a fan of boxing, bro. I'm not a fan of fighting. I put boxing first, and that's what boxing needs. I think what's killing boxing is people are too fan of man and not fan of the actual boxing part of it. That's what it is.
I agree with
Put
that.
it perfect. Cool.
But yeah, you go ahead, bro. You go ahead.
I got it. First, let me shout out my boy Monster Promotions. Time DVRX, I believe, on Twitter. Like he's an Inoue fan, but he's like, I love going back and forth with him on that. He's giving me a lot of perspective. I used to think that Fulton was gonna just be too much for Inoue, and then I watched more Inoue and I talked to him, and I'm just like, wow, you're kind of right. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is some things that this guy does well. I'm gonna go Fulton by decision. Mike, from what you said, bro, when you were talking about how, if you watch the Butler fight, you watch a couple others, Inoue enjoys like that linear action. You know what I mean? Like that straight back and forth type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Whereas Fulton, we see Fulton as a lateral fighter naturally. You know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of people say Fulton's going to get destroyed because he's going to come to fight and just get knocked the hell out, right? But it's just like, and they always will bring up the Figueroa fight. They'll always bring up the Leo fight. Those are the two reasons. And they'll say, you saw what Figueroa did. You saw what Leo did. Leo and Fulton came out his own mouth and said, like, I'm going to show you all that I can fight. Because all of you think that my weakness is fighting inside, is doing all that. I'm going to show you all that I can fight. He said that in the interview before they fought. And then he went in there, got inside, and he beat the shit out of Leo. You know what I mean? Like, he beat him up. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, all right, wow, he's got an inside game. Then against Figueroa, I don't think he chose the fight that way. I think that he was kind of forced, being as though that Figueroa you punch Figueroa in the face, he just smiled at you like, yeah, throw another.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
he's a big dude towering over.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's like Michael. It's like, I don't know if you ever watched that Jason movie when that boxer bull was trying to like punch him and try to get out of there and shit like that. He just was taking it and knocked his head off. Yeah, he just knocked his head completely off and killed him. It was a psycho killer movie. But no, what I'm saying is that with Figueroa, it's just like, it doesn't matter what you do to him. You know what I'm saying? He's just going to just keep on. He doesn't have any crazy footwork. He's just going to go wherever you go. If you take a left, I'm going to take a left. If you take a right, I'm going to take a right. Eventually, you're going to get tired from taking left and right. You're just going to stand there and fight. You know, so in a way, it's more of a strategic set trap type of guy. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, he likes to go mid-range. You know what I'm saying? At least from what I've watched. You know what I mean? He likes to be in the mid-range area. He'll take his step back to get his preferred distance of like, this is where I need to be at. I can touch you. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I mean? Like, I've got enough space to when I throw this body shot, you know what I mean? Like, I can extend my arm as fully as I need to and things of that nature. And I think that with Fulton continuously moving around, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's going to cause, in a way, to have some issues with landing that hard, debilitating shot. You know what I'm saying? He's going to clip Fulton eventually. You know what I mean? It's going to happen. He's going to clip him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I think that Fulton moving and rolling with the punch and actually moving out of the way and things like that, I think he's going to be able to take just enough steam off of it to be able to take that. And then, you know what I'm saying? Like, what happens when they get inside? You know what I'm saying? Because Fulton's nasty inside. He's really nasty inside.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Don't give up all the sauce. You ain't gonna leave me nothing to say.
Oh, my fault, gang. My fault, chat. My fault. Hold on. All right, I'm gonna just say Fulton by decision, man. I'm gonna say Fulton by decision. I'm gonna back up. Let my boy T do his thing, man.
Yeah.
Sorry.
See, you know, we already had this convo. He about to give up all the sauce. I'm gonna be like, he right.
Yeah, my fault, chat.
Nah,
My fault.
So I'm gonna pick up where you left off. So for me, I think that's gonna be a key element. When they go to the inside and they close range, Fulton is gonna have to be very defensively aware and very responsible, but also keep his offense going because he has an advantage in the way he can set up trap and use his inside framing, pinning, all these different things. Defensive controls on the inside favor Fulton. So in my opinion, he wants to fight on the inside because you also force Inoue to have to do shorter shots. So they're sharper, and I don't think he gets the same leverage without being able to fully extend. In my opinion, that's going to make a difference when they're on the inside. The problem with that is this. Fulton can't win the fight that way. He can avoid getting knocked out and rack up some points, but the judges aren't going to reward him for a dirty
This is
fight.
Japan, bro. Look what they did to Franco this time.
He has to do something flashy. And I think that the zone where he could be flashy, throwing the jab and pivot and do that silly shit is where he could get clipped and get KO'd because he can catch a punch he can't recover from. So he's in a catch-22. He could do something to survive and do in any other country that will win him a fight. But in that country, against that opponent, he's got to do something different. So I do agree with you. Mike. Go ahead, Cool K.
My one thing though is that, like, because I hear people say that about Japan, but like, remember how Murata was fighting GGG, right? And Murata was down on the scorecards before he got knocked out. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen them. I forget who I was talking to, but somebody told me that they robbed a Japanese fighter against a European fighter in Japan. You know what I'm saying? So I think that if he does what he's supposed to, you know what I'm saying? If he's winning the round decisively inside, you know what I'm saying? Where anyway is not able to land the same flashy punches that he'll land on, like the Paul Butlers and the Manuel Rodriguez and the Payano. I forget the dude's first name, Juan Payanos. If he can, you know, like keep it like dirty like that and look like he's winning those exchanges, I do think that they may reward him for that. You know what I mean? I do think that they might give him those rewards.
Did you see what they did to Franco versus Ioko?
No, I
can't.
didn't see that. I didn't see
Well,
that.
they robbed the shit out of that boy. I mean, it was a
Oh, they
it was a
did.
draw. It was a draw, but it really shouldn't have been.
Okay,
But they're running it back, and that was in Japan. So I can't.
that was in
I can
Japan.
see why you think that, but I can't trust that. I'm not gonna trust the
Okay.
judges. That's for damn sure. This is
Okay,
Inoue.
I
Also,
got you.
Inoue is like the biggest star in Japan. It's the biggest boxing star in Japan. You know what I mean? So I don't think they'd
Yeah.
want to lose their golden goose like that. So I
I
can't
agree
trust
with
it personally.
It
I
was
agree with that.
this guy on it was I believe it was Chicken Talk that actually brought it in there, and actually my man Monster Promotion, shout out to him again, he brought me onto that YouTube video that they had. I forget this guy's name, but he was Japanese. He is Japanese, and he has like a not just a boxing joint, but he does like a fighting like type of series where he just shows different fighters and of different type of styles and everything like that. And he was actually saying that I think he said that Murata was a big name guy as well, like not on the same level as Inoue, but he was like a rock star out there, you know what I mean? And they had him down in the scorecards before GGG dropped him, knocked him out. You know what I mean? So I do think that it was once I do think that that it could be possible if he can, decisively do his work inside, you know what I mean? And just keep Inoue from landing one of those crazy shots. That's going to be really hard to do though, because Inoue might be the most accurate puncher alive today. You know what I'm saying? So
he has to go in with that Usyk mindset. Like Usyk goes into these other people's countries, and he makes it. He doesn't make it competitive at all. Like he makes it
he makes it
clear
his
that he's the
country.
winner.
He
They
blow
cannot.
you
They
out.
can, exactly. They cannot rob Usyk. They've never robbed Usyk because he makes it clear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what he has to do.
No, I agree with that 100%.
Versus in a way, bro. But if he's doing it versus in a way, that's so dangerous.
Yeah, it is.
No, I agree.
Definitely
It's gonna be a great freaking fight, and we
I'm ready
definitely
for
gonna do some more videos. I kind of cooled off on talking about the fight because I wanted to wait to bubble it back up. But we're about to crank the videos up because June is around the corner.
I think
and I like to talk
it's
6
about.
weeks out.
I think it's the most 50-50 fight since Canelo Triple G won.
Okay, I could agree with that.
Personally, it's 50-50.
Okay.
I honestly, if you guys think Fulton, I'm not going to disagree with you. You know
No,
what I mean?
I like 50-50. I agree with
Yeah.
that. And if you say
Anyway, can win.
55-45 towards your favorite, I wouldn't be mad at that. You could call it 55-45 either way and still be right, but 50-50 definitely a fair perspective. So we right at the 2-hour mark pretty much. So I'm gonna close it because I try not to go too long on these. I gotta go eat and all that good stuff, get ready for work tomorrow. I appreciate everybody that tuned in. Hey, just Mike, like I said, man, if we don't follow each other on Twitter, we'd love to talk with you more. Hopefully you have been enjoying the content. And then obviously my man, Cool K, the casual man, not the casual fan. He about to be my co-host. He don't even know it yet. But
no, I do follow you on Twitter. I got you from Ring IQ channel. That's where you popped up on.
Okay.
So
that's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, Ring IQ. So you probably seen my co-host on here a couple times too. Q.
Yeah, Q. That's that. Yeah, it's Q I follow. That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, for sure. Hey, we appreciate it, man. I know that he and I have very polarizing perspectives on boxing, which is what makes our conversation so fun. So, some people like what we do, what I say, some people like what he say, but as long as you come and support the content, man, we appreciate it. You're welcome to join the panel and chop it up with us. We really love the interaction with
I like this
followers.
This was fun.
That's what's up. Well, hey guys, we're gonna close it right there. Kate, you got anything to say before we close out?
Yes, I do, man. Follow me on Twitter. No, I'm joking. You guys are good.
Yeah,
man.
what's your Twitter?
Follow him.
I'm
follow him.
Oh shoot, man. Yeah. Follow me on Twitter, man. For real. What is? I done forgot what my Twitter was.
LL Cool K.
LL Cool K.
LL Cool K. Look that up.
K, man.
Yeah, I got him tagged on one of our. Posts.
Oh,
so if you just
K.com. That's what it. K._com. That's the at. K._com. There you go.
There you go. Yeah.
Yep.
Follow my guy, AK Molaire 504, my sis from the South. Hey, appreciate you rocking with us throughout the show. Hey, man, she shows so much love. Hey, to everybody else that just been watching, that's cool, man. We appreciate you being here. Hit the like button on your way out. This has been T, Cool K, and Just Mike. This is the Mike Check Podcast. Till the next time. Peace.
Peace.